All right, well, welcome to another session of the HubSpot Admins Hug. Normally, I'd be behind the scenes making sure the lights stay on, but Kyle is at an event today, so I'm going to be here walking through the housekeeping and making sure things are running. So you can decide whether that's a reward or a threat, your choice. But let's go ahead and look at the upcoming events. If you are here, you know that our events are here every single week. If you are on this session, you know that you've been here. You can see what's coming up. This week, we are actually going to be talking about marketing events and catching up with Namratha and to see what those marketing events are in HubSpot and make sure that you are running those efficiently. Next week, we are going to be walking through the Frame AI acquisition with George, diving into those details and seeing and finding out what that actually means for you guys. On April 29th, we're going to be diving into reporting, everybody's favorite topic. And if it's like any of our other reporting session, it's going to be an amazing group. So make sure you come in with those questions. And speaking of questions, on the 6th of May, we're going to be doing a Q&A with Andrew Petrie. So make sure that you've got all of those product questions ready and put those into the chat. See. And then on May 13th, we're going to be scaling support with AI. That's a Service Hub session. Make sure you're coming to that. On the 30th, we're going to be diving into the architecture of your HubSpot and making sure that your business is set up properly to be using your HubSpot. Then on the 27th, we'll be diving into another Service Hub session for innovative retention, making sure that your customer success is using HubSpot wisely. On the 10th of June, which we've already got June events and September events on here. You can go ahead and get those in RSVP. We will be making sure that we've got multi-account management and Commerce Hub all ready for you. All right. And if you haven't been able to catch a session or you've missed something and you want to go back and rewatch it, you can always go to the YouTube channel. We've got 129 videos on there. So that means after today, you will have 130 wonderful sessions that you can go back and check out. You won't be able to stay away and you'll be able to spend days and days and days watching things if you need to go back and look at those. And for those of you who joined us a couple weeks ago, we had a HubSpot show and tell for the Hug for all of those amazing admins who have been able to share all of their awesome things that they've learned. Go ahead and make sure that you are sending in your submissions, because as soon as we have 4 or 5 of those, we'll get another one scheduled for us. And we do have a place on the HubSpot community. You can go in there and you can connect with other admin. We do also have a LinkedIn group. Great space to go in and talk to your fellow admin and get their ideas and connect with them. But everyone's favorite space, the Sprocketeer LinkedIn group or the Sprocketeer Slack group. You can go in there. I think we have 2,900 people on there at this time. Let's see. We got 2,900 people on there at this time. So make sure you're going in there, engaging with your fellow admin and just connecting them. We've also got a space on Connect. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Good.
Welcome. We've also got a space on Connect, but make sure you are joining those areas so that you're connecting with other admin. Unfortunately, the Super Admin Bootcamp is full, but you can go ahead and join the wait list and let them know that you are interested in that. That looks like the next one will be opening in May. The platform that we use is Bevy. Sometimes it behaves, sometimes it doesn't. But if you have any issues, go ahead and turn it on, turn it off again. Make sure you're rebooting your browser, and then that should work for you. And we do these sessions every single week. So make sure if you've got any ideas, desires of topics that you want to do, you're submitting those for us that we can get them on the board for you. And if you have any questions and you want to connect with Kyle or I, you can do that on LinkedIn, and we are happy to get connected with you. All right. Namratha, it's all yours. Take it away.
Amazing. Awesome. Let me start by sharing my screen, which I did figure out to do. Okay. Window. Awesome. Hey, everyone. Really excited to meet all to 99 of you and hopefully growing from there. I am Namratha, and today we'll be talking about marketing events and how you can manage marketing events in HubSpot. So, really, really excited to dive into this topic. Quickly introducing myself, I'm Namratha. I am a product manager at HubSpot, managing marketing integrations. I started out at HubSpot about 3 years ago, starting with managing our e-commerce space and e-commerce integrations. And then just 5 months ago, actually also took over the marketing events space with marketing events object, Eventbrite integration, as well as GoToWebinars. So if you have questions about those, my team is the team that you need at HubSpot. So while I'm not being a PM at HubSpot, I love to sing, dance, and I'm a huge book nerd as well. So that's a little bit about me. So today's agenda, we'll be talking about marketing events, but we'll start with familiarizing ourselves with the events object. From there, we'll do a live demo of the current functionality of how you can manage your events in HubSpot. And from there, we'll take a sneak peek into the 2025 vision and roadmap for marketing events with HubSpot. Awesome. Now let's start with aligning with the team's vision for marketing events. So, our team is hard at work with this one single mission in mind, which is enabling marketers to manage and automate all of their event activities in HubSpot. Now, breaking this down further, our focus is essentially twofold. One, bringing event and registrant data into HubSpot's event object. Now, we bring this event and registrant data through multiple ways. One, through online event data, through several of our HubSpot built integrations, as well as partner integrations like Zoom, GoToWebinar, Eventbrite. So through these integrations, we want to bring all of this event and registrant data into HubSpot. If you don't want to use one of our integrations, you can also leverage the import flow. So events object is supported in HubSpot's import flow. So if you have a Excel file created with a bunch of your contacts who are going to be registrants, you can also do that and bringing that data into HubSpot. Or you can just do the manual route and manually create a marketing event from scratch. So these are several ways through which you can bring your event and registrant data into HubSpot. From there, the second part of our mission is making this data super accessible across all of HubSpot's awesome tools like campaigns, forms, workflows, emails. There's a bunch of tools, and I'll probably take the whole session mentioning all of HubSpot's awesome tools. So that's the twofold mission for our team, which is bringing this event and registrant data and making sure that this data is accessible to you all in all of the different HubSpot tools. Now, quickly shouting out some of the HubSpot integrations that you can use to be able to manage your events. HubSpot has some native integrations that has been built in-house, like Zoom, MS Teams, Eventbrite, GoToWebinar. Now, these are HubSpot built integrations that uses the native CRM events object, but we also have 16 plus partner apps, and you can see a screenshot of some of those apps that you can leverage to be able to manage your events within HubSpot and also use the native events object. So that's a little bit about the different integrations you can use. Now, let's dive into learning more about the current functionality of the events object, as well as how do you manage events in HubSpot. I love to set the stage by aligning on a persona. I'm sure you've all heard of Gabby. Growth Gabby is a persona within HubSpot, but this Growth Gabby is essentially a marketing professional, and she specializes in event marketing. She works at Global Solutions Incorporated, a business consultancy agency, and Global Solutions is decided to organize a hybrid conference, which is called Future of Business. Now, this conference is targeting C-suite executives and senior managers. And our awesome Growth Gabby has been put in charge of planning and executing this event. Now, these are some of Gabby's goals while she's trying to manage and execute this event. One, she wants to track registrations and post event follow up. She also wants to manage event registrations and communication across multiple platforms so as to get more engagement for her event. From there, she also wants to integrate this event data with the CRM for accurate lead scoring so she can pass along those qualified leads to her sales team. She also wants to track all of the multiple assets that go into managing an event and make sure that it is all consolidated in one place. She also, at the end of the day, wants to prove the value of events for her sales team and get budget for more events in the future. Now that we are aligned on what Gabby wants to do, what are her goals, let's now empower Gabby to achieve her goals and overcome her challenges with HubSpot's marketing events. Now, from here, let's dive into how she can do that with a live demo. Awesome. Cool. I was able to switch so easily. Perfect. Awesome. So now Gabby is hosting this event called Future of Business. For that, she can start by going into the marketing tab within the global navigation and finding events. And quick note, we recently added events to the global navigation, which we're super excited for, makes it super accessible. So she can go in here and she can start by creating a marketing event. There's a bunch of fields here like name, description, what type of event it is, start and end date, what are the organizer, uh, etc. So um, for the sake of time, I've already created event. And I essentially the description is it's a hybrid conference with targeting C-suite customers. The organizer looks like this event is going to be at the end of May, and this is definitely high time that she starts promoting this event and setting things up. As you can see here, this is essentially the record page for a marketing event.
Hey,
This
sorry,
overview.
sorry to interrupt. Can you just zoom in on your browser a little bit? It's a little
Oh,
small for some of us.
sure.
Ooh,
Um,
is that better?
let, um,
Command plus if you're on a Mac,
okay.
Control plus if you're PC.
Is this
True.
better?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, much better. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Awesome. Okay, good to know. All right. So this is essentially the record page for a marketing events. So you have your performance tab here. You can see an overview of the registrations, cancellations, and attendees. You have an associated campaign, which we'll talk about more, and then any associated lists to this marketing event, as well as any imports. Now, you may be surprised that Gabby just created this event and there's already registrations and cancellations. But essentially, I wanted to show you this imports feature. So, for example, Gabby probably already has a roster of attendees that she knows through several calls that are going to be part of the Future of Business event, and she has went ahead and registered them on their behalf. Now she has this information in this Excel sheet, which she can directly go ahead and import. So, if you're not familiar with the imports tool, there's this really handy KB article that you can learn about the import tool as well. But essentially, you can just click on the import tool here and you'll be able to import your contacts with a certain format. There is an example file is there as well as to what the template of that import file needs to be, and you can do that. So through that, Gabby has 7 registrations. She already realized that there's 3 of them that have registered, but for accuracy, she has maintained that. So at the end of the day, she can see how many have registered, how many have canceled, etc. Now, Gabby knows that at the end of May, she has this event and she wants to start promoting the Future of Business event on several channels. And for that, she also realizes, okay, let me start by creating a landing page and setting up a form inside that so that I can start getting registrations from there. So for that, she goes ahead and creates a landing page. So bear my poor design skills. I am a humble PM, not a designer, but this is a very basic landing page that I have created, which is join our Future of Business Marketing event. And then this is a form that I was able to create as well, a simple register for our upcoming webinar form with several fields here and a thank you message. And from there, I was able to then embed that form essentially into this landing page. Now, this is a very efficient marketing tool. I'm sure everyone who has set up a marketing event uses a landing page, uses forms to set up those registrations as well. Now, all of this is set up, great. Now, Gabby decides to then realize, okay, let me create a campaign so I can consolidate all of these different assets into one space. So then she goes ahead and creates a new campaign for her Future of Business event. So the event campaign is already created, the campaign name, who's the owner, supposed to be Gabby, but let's pretend it's me. And then we have the campaign and start and end date. Now here she can start by adding these different assets. So for example, marketing event, I know that Future of Business is something that I want to add to this campaign, which is the main event that I'm running this campaign for. Also form, I know that I have created this form here. And then a landing page, which will be under content. Yes. So you have your landing page. Also, quick shout out, you can create your landing page or create your form directly from this asset page as well. Amazing. So all of these assets have been added here. Let's give it a minute. Awesome. Now you can see here that whenever you add each of these assets to the campaign page, they come up here in the performance tab. And it is so cool to see, like, when this form and landing page is live, you can see how many conversions have happened on this form, on this landing page, and ultimately how is that driving the registrations for my marketing event. So you have this whole view of how you're going to manage and market your marketing event, and how is that driving the registrations for your marketing event. So you have this whole view here. Also, side note, campaigns, as many of you are definitely familiar with, is a very strong tool. So if Gabby wants to create like social media ads and connect her ads account to HubSpot, she can also see the ROI and campaign spend, and see the revenue attribution and how that has influenced the number of contacts, and how that has driven ultimately the registrations for her marketing event. So all of these cool things can be tracked and accounted for through the campaigns tool itself. Awesome. So now Gabby essentially is able to manage her different assets to the campaign tool. She has also been able to create this landing page, embed a form, and start taking registrations. Now, for example, assuming that she has already sent out this landing page as a social media ad, has this landing page on her company's website, and sent it out to a bunch of people. She would also like to send post event registration details or an email to anybody who has registered for this. So for that, she'll start by creating a post registration email, like, thank you for registering for this marketing event, and a bunch of details on the webinar link, etc., and all of those details which will be part of the post registration email. And then she can then set up a workflow. So for example, she can set up an enrollment trigger such that anybody who has registered for the marketing event called Future of Business, send them this post registration email. So a very simple automation for setting up any post registration activities. She can also set up similar workflow and emails for post event survey, or following up with attendees. So a bunch of different things. So quick note that you can access all of the marketing event data through your forms. You can workflows, emails, etc. So essentially, we have made marketing event data accessible across all of these different tools. Awesome. Now going back to what were Gabby's goals. So we started out with understanding that Gabby had to attend or create this event. Now, she has been able to track against all of her different goals. So she's been able to track registrations and post event follow up. She's been able to manage event registrations and communication across multiple platforms. She's been able to integrate event data with CRM for accurate lead scoring, keep track of different assets, and prove the value of the event to the sales team. Now, as I'm looking through this, I did miss talking about one other cool thing, which is lead scoring. This I think is super exciting. So for example, Gabby really wants to through this event send qualified leads to her sales team, so she can use the lead scoring tool and then create like a future of business lead scoring. So essentially what she can do is create this lead scoring rule where any contact that has registered for an event, or you can also think about it as attended an event and that event name is future of business, then add 2 points to their lead score, which means that these C-suite executives are super interested in a product that probably Gabby's company is selling, and that would then be added to their lead score, which would be a signal for the sales team as well when they are going through their the contact page. For example, Jessica Newman, she's attending or has registered for future of business, and the sales team can see that she's a future of business attendee and her engagement score is 2 because of that. So different ways in which you can really signal to your sales team as well that this is a qualified lead, and basically close the pipeline from there. Awesome. So from there, I think we have covered all of Gabby's goals for this event. So I think she's definitely on track to manage and create a super successful event through HubSpot. From there, I also wanted to quickly talk about the Marketing Events API. Now, if you do not want to use any of the integrations that use the events object, you can also leverage the Marketing Events API to bring in events data as well as registrants data into HubSpot. This API is supports full create, read, update, and delete functionality. It has dedicated participant state API endpoints for real-time updates. What that means is, for example, if I have registered for an event and then I decide later in the day that I cancel, then Namratha, if Namratha is a contact on your CRM, then my essentially I'll be shown as cancelled for that particular event. So it's for real-time updates there. And then you also have advanced list association and disassociation capabilities via the API itself. And you have universal API access, which is you can interact with marketing events regardless of the creation source, with support for both external and internal identifiers. So there is this link to the documentation. Essentially, you can find this documentation within the HubSpot developer docs. So you have all of these different functionalities and details about the Marketing Event API. And we keep improving this API. So if you have any feedback, please leave any feedback in our community forum as well. Awesome. So that was a quick preview of the events object, and also how Gabby can manage and create her marketing event within HubSpot with the current functionality that is available. Now let's look at what you can expect from the events object and marketing events in 2025 and beyond. So I'm going to give you a quick preview and sneak peek into what's top of mind for the team. A quick disclaimer here that dates and priorities are subject to change, especially in the age of AI where everything is changing all the time. But these things are definitely top of mind for the team and something that we hope to accomplish this year and beyond. Firstly, I would love to bring your attention to a public beta that is currently available for you all to try, which is the registrant object card on contact record page. So let me give you a preview of what that looks like. So you know that Jessica Newman is a contact that you'll be speaking to. And here, right within the contact record, we have introduced a CRM card that shows you a preview of all the marketing events that Jessica has been a part of. If you know that she's going to attend an upcoming event, you can bring that up again during your call. So you have all of this consolidated information right within the contact record. You don't have to go back and forth between different event records and contact records to be able to do that. So if this looks interesting, you can sign up for the public beta, which is available right now. And again, there's a bunch of important information here, like participation status, event start and end date, and you can click into the event page as well from here. From there, another thing that's top of mind for the team is participant state management. So the ability to modify the participant state directly from the UI. So for example, I know I spoke to Jessica today. I brought up future of business, but then she mentioned that she's not able to make it to the conference because of another priority. And on her behalf, I want to change the status of her attendance to cancelled. So I'll be able to do that directly from this marketing events CRM card, or even from the record page. So that is also something that the team is working on this year. Next, marketing event-based workflows and actions. Something that else that's top of mind for the team is making the marketing event data easily accessible in the workflow builder. Right now, we understand there are some limitations to the way contact-based workflows can be created with marketing event data. So we are planning to make that easier by adding a marketing event-based workflow and making the event data more accessible right within the contact enrollment as well. Another thing that we are actively looking at is building a workflow action, which is essentially registering a contact to an event through a form. So as you saw, Gabby created this landing page, this form. So as soon as somebody registers or submits a form, they're automatically added to this future of business marketing event. So that's a workflow action that's also something the team is working on this quarter. From there, the record page redesign. Now, this is a big project that the team is focusing on. As you saw, the record page today for marketing events, although it has definitely a lot more information, it is different from the standard layout of a CRM record page, and that is something that we want to improve. So there's the notes functionality is missing, the timeline functionality, all of these different functions that come with a standard record page layout is missing in the marketing event record page, which we are planning to implement. So we'll take that step iteratively, but that's coming soon as well. Along with that, you'll have a stronger marketing event association. So if you want to associate marketing event object with any other object, we're also bringing that functionality along with the record page redesign. Next, participant management. So right now, the only way that you can manage the registrations for this marketing event is either you can import the registrations through the import tool, or you would have to use an API for it. But in the future, we also plan to have make it easier for you to add participants directly from the UI, making it super easy and efficient for you, so you don't have to create an Excel sheet and import it again. So you can just manage it directly from the UI. And lastly, something else that we are working on is marketing event token in emails. If you're familiar with personalization token, it makes it very easy for you to just create a generic marketing email and use a personalization token. So you can create a marketing email, post registration email for all your marketing events using that token, and you can use it for different marketing events. So that is also something that's top of mind for the team. Awesome. That was me talking nonstop for 30 minutes. Hopefully, that was really helpful for you all. But um, uh, I really wanted you all to get some insight into the events object as well as the current functionality, and hopefully also get you excited about the future of events in HubSpot. So with that, I'll open up the floor for questions as I also read through 42 Q&As that is ongoing.
Yeah, we've got plenty of questions to get through. Thanks so much. That was great. That was a lot of detail. I learned some stuff. I did not know any of that stuff about your roadmap. Sounds like your team's going to be pretty busy. Lots of warm, friendly comments for you in the chat if you would like to just wade into that bubble bath of adoration that's coming in. I will be sorting the Q&A by most upvotes to least upvotes. So if everyone could hop in there, do some upvoting, we will get through as many as we can that way. I am actually at an event right now, so I feel it's very appropriate that this event about marketing events is being broadcast to you from a marketing event. They don't have Wi-Fi at this marketing event, so I am doing this through my hotspot. And if at any point you can't hear me or I go weird, I have all the faith in the world that you all will continue on without me just fine. But yeah, all right. With all that, I'm going to hop now into the 44 questions we have. And I will just fire these at you. I apologize. I got interrupted. I had to answer a question for an attendee here. So if any of the answers to these are, Kyle, I answered that on the webinar, why weren't you paying attention? That's going to be my alibi. Here at the top, with 24 upvotes, would you recommend using manual or non-integrated marketing events for tracking in-person events like trade shows?
Sorry, manual, or what was the other option?
Non-integrated? So I
Okay.
assume this is like the manual creation of event records in HubSpot, not connected to Simple Events or Eventbrite or one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I think creating a marketing event from scratch would be the ideal way to go here. And then you can import your contacts or registrants and all of that information through the import tool and bring that into HubSpot. But I understand that if you have like a bunch of events, like maybe old events that you want to bring into HubSpot, there's like 20 or 30 of them, that would be cumbersome. And maybe having like bulk import or bulk creation would be helpful, but we don't have that today. You would have to create each of those events and then bring in the data through the import tool. But then, yeah, the way to go would be creating each of these events and then importing the registrations and cancellations and attendees through the import tool.
Cool. Can you show us the import tool real quick? Is this in the main import tool options or is it inside the events?
Yes. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Let's do. Okay. So as you can see here, I have this test marketing event that I have created. So within this imports tab itself, you can navigate to import event contact. So it's easily accessible for you. So you can go into that. Okay. Now, select the activities that you would like to import. You have, if you know that you only have registrations, you can just select that. But if you know that if it's an older event and, for example, it's an offline event that has already happened, you can select all of them and then click next. This download example file is really handy. Just a second. Okay.
Fun fact, everyone, that download example file link is there anytime you're importing stuff in HubSpot, and it's always dynamic to the things you're importing. So it's great to know that.
Okay. I think this might be better. No. Okay. It's just a second. Let's try again. I would love to show you the import file.
Yeah.
Oop. Okay. Can
There it
you?
is.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
It's pretty. Yeah. If you could zoom in a little, it'd be helpful. But we are
Yes.
seeing it.
Okay. So essentially, this is the format in which you would want your import file to be in. You would have your email, first name, last name, register it, attended, and then you can also have contact. And there's some handy information here. Include values for at least one contact to create marketing event. Include values for properties. I would also, I think it would be helpful if I show you one that I created for Future of Business. So let me zoom in here. So for
Got it. So the
example,
registered, attended, and canceled, those are all date time.
yes, yes. And if the format is not something that's supported, the import tool will flag that to you. So for example, let me quickly show that. Okay. So for example, let me choose a file, downloads, Future of Biz contacts, open. I would want to create and update contacts here. Um, cool. So it's showing me that all of these are perfectly mapped: first name, last name, email, registered, attended. Looks like, I mean, this event hasn't happened yet, so none of the attended values, it's grayed out. And then cancel, so it's mapped everything perfectly, so there have been zero errors. Um, it's showing that attended is unavailable, which is fine because it's a future event. And then you can essentially you can also change the date format, but it
Oh,
auto
nice. Yeah.
maps it. It recognizes the format that it is already in, so you can finish import from there.
Amazing. The next question is how to associate offline leads from a trade show created as a marketing event in HubSpot with a campaign in the attribution report.
Ooh, okay. So I'm just trying to break down this question a little bit more. So how do you associate? So there's basically an offline event that's happened. There's all of these
Yeah,
contacts that.
I'm actually realizing I misread that. It says offline leads. So I think specifically if you import a bunch of leads,
Yeah.
their source is going to be offline event or whatever that's called. And they're wanting to associate that with a campaign in the attribution report. Olga, let me know if I'm misrepresenting your question or any of the 28 people who upvoted it.
Okay. Within the campaigns, influenced contacts. Campaign. Okay. Let me share my screen. I am also figuring this out along with you. Okay,
Love
so
that.
I'm in the campaigns tool, and I'm assuming influenced contacts is the thing that this question is referring to. Now, if you go into influenced contacts, it says the number of new or existing contacts that engaged with one or more assets in this campaign. And I clicked on learn more. So what does influenced contact mean? So the contact has interacted with the ad, a social media post, submitted a form, was in associated workflow. I'm trying to see if there's a offline um, indicator, viewed a document. Um, yeah, it seems like the way campaigns tool is set up is through an active interaction of one of the different assets. So I'm assuming with the offline event, you wouldn't have captured those contact interactions. So I don't think you can bring those influenced contacts for an offline event. But this is very interesting, something that I'll bring up with the campaigns team. But one way that you could still indicate, you know, like association or show that this contact was part of an offline event is through the lead scoring way that I showed you. So, for example, you could have this marketing event that was offline. You could have your contacts that were registered as well, and then you could set up this lead scoring tool for lead scoring rule for that particular offline event, and within your contact it'll show up as this contact was essentially part of this offline event. But I'm not sure how you can bring that or tie it back to the campaign, apart from maybe um, adding the event to the campaign as an asset. But if your question is about influenced contacts, it looks like right now it needs to be a active interaction based on this KB article. But this is something that I can bring up with the campaigns team and get back.
I just made a note for myself. We should probably have a hug event on campaigns. Is that a thing people would be into? That is definitely a thing I can make happen. So we'll focus on asking you questions that are within your domain, and we'll have a different event another time for related tools.
Campaign is complex and robust. So
and
I
it's
would
got
love
a lot
to.
of new features, and yeah, I think that we could definitely have a good event on that. So that's my homework so far. We'll see if I get more homework as we go through these questions. What about non-hosted marketing events? The majority of our events are sponsored industry events. We attend, have a booth, speak, and get an attendee list. This is our biggest hurdle for marketing attribution and influence data.
Could I get clarity on non-hosted events?
So they aren't the organizers. Gina, let me know if I'm misrepresenting, but my understanding of this, they aren't the creators of the event. They aren't the organizers of it. They're just attending this event as a sponsor, as a speaker. I don't think that would necessarily change the way you would represent it in HubSpot, but I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would. I'm assuming, say, I was a speaker for an event that was hosted by another company, and I would like to bring the attendees for my session into like HubSpot. I would still go ahead and create a marketing event, name it as speaker session, and then bring in all of those contacts or attendees for my session into through the import tool, and go about it the same way. Again, the same limitations of offline events apply, but you can again have a lead score rule set up, and you could have like workflow set up to have like a post-event engagement, things like that. So I think it would be the same way. But if there's a specific gap that you're speaking to in terms of like the campaigns tool, again, I'd love to like learn more about that, but I don't think creation of that event would be any different.
Great. Lisette asked a question that got 22 votes. She asked it 10 minutes into this event, so I'm pretty sure this has been answered pretty thoroughly, but I'm going to ask it. Will we be able to use forms in the future to track registrations with marketing events?
Yes.
Forms are a pretty cool core part of
Yeah, I think that's for sure. And that's such a like I mentioned, I just joined this team like 5 months ago, and this was one of the number one requests that we got from customers when I was doing a listening tour. So we do have a workflow action coming up that would essentially register a contact to a marketing event if they submitted a form. So we're definitely going to make that super easy for you, and you can just add that action to your workflow, and you can create like more robust workflows from there. So yeah, that's on the roadmap and coming soon, actually.
This is a maybe a fringe advanced question. This is Kyle Jepson questions now from the Q&A. As you're working on that, are you also building an action for the new journey automation tool? Will that be able to enroll people in events?
Interesting. We haven't looked at that yet, but something that I can take as a follow-up. But no, this would be focused mostly on the forms tool.
Great. Willem asks, will we be able to add contacts to events in workflow? A lot of webinar tools are not yet supporting the native object. So that is, yes, you just said that. Matt asks, can we create properties related to specific events? For instance, if someone registers for an event that has food, can we ask for dietary restrictions? We don't want the dietary restriction field applied to the contact record because we need to manually clear it after every event.
That's a great question. I think, okay, it when you're creating that form, for example, you would have that as a field there within the form itself. And then I am we can essentially, sorry, taking a step back, the way this works is contacts is different from participants. So even if Namrata is a contact on your CRM, Namrata in relation to the future of business event is a participant, and we do store like event specific properties. So for example, if I have specified that I want a vegan food option for this marketing event, that is and can be stored within the participant object, which is behind the scenes, but we don't expose it right now. But yeah, I think that's also something that we can think about in the future. But uh, in the UI, you won't be able to see if those different properties are captured. But yeah, that's something that we can bring forth in the future.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I think in general, custom properties are appreciated in all aspects of HubSpot. We recently got them for meetings, which is a thing I never considered, but people are really excited about. So definitely worth investigating. Matt, for your specific example, I would actually push back on you if you could store dietary restrictions on the contact record and then autofill that on future events they register for. That I don't think people's dietary restrictions change very often, and it would maybe be a really delightful experience if it was like, oh hey, I remember you. You
Yeah.
don't eat potatoes, so we will have a non-potato option for you, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be so cool to also like mention in your post registration email follow up. Like, we remember that you
yeah,
like potatoes, and we've
welcome
already.
back. It's good to have
Yeah,
you again. Last
yeah,
time you were really unhappy with our potatoes, and we're gonna
yeah.
do better this time. Uh, yeah. Um, Chris asks, is badge scanning and lead retrieval on the product roadmap? We put on our own trade show style events, and if I could keep everything in HubSpot, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think mobile, like basically like a QR code scanner, that's also something that I've heard a lot of customers mentioning, especially in like an offline scenario. Um, I think one way that you could potentially still solve for this is um, if you have, say, in an offline event, you have a QR code that leads you to the landing page that you have your form set up in, and you have a workflow that essentially takes your contacts that has registered and adds it to this marketing event as registrations. You can still manage that because HubSpot does have a mobile QR code option. But then if the expectation here is that you scan a QR code and you are registered already, we don't have that on the roadmap, at least for this year. But a workaround for that could be that you can create a QR code for your landing page and follow the same route that I just showed you in the demo.
Great. Lauren prefaces her question by saying it might be a dumb question, but 9 people upvoted it, so I don't think it's a dumb question, Lauren, and I'm
No
glad you
dumb
asked it.
questions.
What is the difference between a marketing event and a campaign? Both seem like ways to keep track of
Hmm.
related assets.
That's such a great question. So the way we look at marketing event is actually as an asset itself. So a campaign is this bucket. So for example, in Gabby was creating this future of future of business. I forgot, but future of business event. But the campaign essentially would be managing all of the assets that come with marketing this event. For example, social media ads, the landing page, the forms, the workflows, the emails, all of these are pre-event marketing activities that Gabby would need to take care of to market her event. So event again is still looked at as an asset, just like an email, just like a landing page. So I would say an event is actually a subset of a campaign, and the campaign is a whole bucket. You can use campaign even outside of an event. Like, you have there's so many different marketing campaigns that you can run for different activities that you do in a business. It does not just have to be for an event. So yeah, so I would look at the event as a subset of the campaign.
Great. Adam asks, how do you track whether they attended the event or not? Is that done manually post-event, or can you bring these tools to the event and check in guest attendance and link it back to HubSpot tracking?
That's a good question. So if it is through an integration, we do get that data directly from the integration. So for example, with Zoom, all of the registration, attendees, cancellations, all of these are brought into HubSpot through the API itself. So you would have all of that information auto-mapped. But then if this is an offline event, unfortunately, you would have to manage that in your Excel sheet and essentially import that file and then manage all of your attendees, registrations, etc. But then something that we are working on in the future is you can manually change the attendance status for a particular for several contacts. So for example, our vision for the future is that within the record page itself, you would have a tab for participants, and then for example, you can just edit a bunch of registrations as attended, or bulk change a set of registrations as cancelled. So that's also something that we're looking for in the future to make it easier through the UI itself. But right now, the best way to do it is through the import tool and maintaining that data in your Excel sheet.
Got it. The event I'm at just let out, and people are going to be walking down this hallway to go to lunch. And so I apologize if it gets really noisy in here for the final 8 minutes we have together. Prior to event, Jesse says, prior to marketing events, we created a custom object to create our events. I'm assuming we should transition over to using marketing events instead, as more capabilities and tools will be available for them than for custom objects.
Yes, emphatic yes. I think that was one of my biggest goals that I had for when hosting this session, is really showing you the capabilities that the events object already has today and all of the cool things that we are planning for the future. So custom objects is only available for a certain tier, that it also has certain limitations, but native CRM object is always the way to go. And rest assured, we have a bunch of exciting features coming up for the events object. So encourage you all to transition to the events object and check out and look forward to the new features coming up.
Amazing. Tereva asks, will we be able to score by event type? We host numerous customer training workshops and would like to exclude them from lead scoring.
That's a good question. Event type.
When you build a lead score and use events, can you select specific events, or is it just attended or registered for any event?
Let me quickly share my screen. Okay. Yeah, you can select specific events. So for example, I have attended marketing event, and then you can go in and select a property event name, occurred at, origin. But I guess the question here is there needs to be like a event type. So if, for example, it's a hybrid event or a webinar, I think that's where this question is leading. And yeah, I think that's something that we can look at. I don't think we have it now, but you can obviously select event type and select any of the different events here that come up, but sorry, event name, but we don't have an event type property filter.
This is another spot where custom properties would help. What is origin?
Good question. It's online and in-person.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good workaround. I'm not sure if they have other types of events that they want to like bifurcate with as well, but then I think origin is a good way to go if it's just online and in person.
Yeah.
And then occurred at.
Jay asks, will we see the marketing event card come to company records? It's often useful for our reps to see who all from a specific company will be attending an event.
Yeah, this is a great question, and something that we got as feedback with the registrant object card that I showed you that's currently in public beta. Right now, you can see marketing event information for a particular contact record, but one of the first feedback we got was, can we bring that into the company record as well? And something that we're still deliberating on is fresh feedback that we have received, and we would have to do some more investigation on that. But valid feedback and something I can take back.
So there's a story here. Lisette, I apologize. So Lisette asked the question. I was like 10 minutes in. Lisette asked, do forms work? And then 20 minutes in, Lisette heard what you said and asked a follow-up question. I should have been paying attention to this in the first place. When a contact submits the form, will they be counted as a registrant?
Yes, they'll be counted as a registrant, especially if especially with the workflow action that we are currently developing. The default state of that would be register this person to the marketing event.
Cool. Leah asks kind of two questions. Can you send surveys after the event and use a workflow for it?
Mhm.
So
Let me keep my screen shared so it's easier. Forms. Okay, I think let me open. Yeah, essentially you would create a workflow similar to this, wherein the enrollment trigger, you have a contact-based workflow, has completed, registered for the marketing event, which with the event name, whatever you want. And then the action would be you send an email with a survey attached to it, or you can just, essentially that's the way you would go about it.
yeah, and we recently added a send survey workflow action. So if you're in
Oh.
like Service Hub building a survey, you can just send it that way also.
Beautiful, yeah.
Olga asks, so you showed the import flow, and she asks, does this mean we need to import lists of online contacts twice to marketing events and to the CRM?
No, they will be added to the CRM by default. So you don't have to, any contact that is added as a attendee or a registrant to a marketing event is also added to your CRM. So
Great, that is news.
You got to request to click on the triggers in the one you're showing.
Okay.
Like just has completed. The has completed registered for marketing event.
Yeah.
Just so they can see the options in there.
Okay. Yeah. You can add criteria like the event name occurred at, and then anything specifically.
That was just the request. I figured
Just wanted to see what was in there, I think.
Okay.
Curiosity.
Okay, we got 1 minute left, so this will be our last question. Maud says, hello, thank you, great feature. I'm sure I will use this a lot going forward, so that we love that. Quick question, is it possible to differentiate cancellations from no-shows in the overview?
That is a very good question. Right now, we don't have that, but something I think once we go through all of the roadmap features that I just showed you, another big focus in the future for us is engagement and offline events. So something that we'll pick it up probably next year. But right now, we don't have a specific no-show property or even within the overview tab.
Great. Well, we're going to call it there. We have more questions we didn't get through, of course. I think we're not even halfway through. So I will export these all out and share them with you so you can share them with your team. Very interesting things like, can we integrate marketing events with HubDB tables and things. So I'll share those with you. If people want to get in touch with you, what's your preferred way?
Yeah, you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn ID is, let me quickly drop that in the chat.
It's a race. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to reach
Okay.
out to me. And
Great.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for being here. Great event. Thanks everyone for coming, and hope to see you all back next week. Have a good
thanks
Tuesday.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.